Hi there, everybody. It's Cassie. So I recorded a whole video. It was about 45-minute video, and then I realized I had left my dang old chat section on that whole time. So that's what you got to see the whole video. So I'm starting it over. The other day I did a photo for a friend. I was teaching him how to work with portrait photos. So we did a screen share. I showed him how I do all of my tips and tutorials, and I figured I would do this with you guys as well. If you look in the description below, I have attached this exact photo, and we are going to go step by step together on how I edited my photo from this to, let's get to it. Oh, sorry, this. It is going to end up differently because I'm editing this on a separate day, but I figured we could still do this together, have fun, and see what we end up with. So if you want to download this, feel free to. If you still want to have your own creative reign with this and do your own things that you think would look better than what I do, feel free to as well. I'm already getting ahead of myself by trying to crop it. But let's just get started and I will show you what I'm going to do. I'm also going to show you what I'm wearing in this outfit. My hair is the new Stealthic release over at Custom 9. This top is Eliava, and that's currently at Aw Lovely. And the shorts are Candy Doll, and that's also at Aw Lovely. As always, I am wearing my Skinnery skin on both my head and my body. I'm wearing the Maitreya Lara body, the Leluca Chloe head. And then I have Izzy's chin dimple and her eyeliner on. It's like a matte liner and also some freckles with moles on it. Those are all hers. So I'm already trying to crop it right here. Crop is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons down. Make sure you have it either at unconstrained or if you have Creative Cloud, it's going to be ratio. So we're going to have it right here, and then I'm just going to rotate it a little bit on what I think might look good. For this image, I want it to have little head space as well as side space. That stuff drives me insane. So I'm just kind of like moving around to see what I prefer. I might even just leave it as is. And I'm already happy with that. So why is my enter not working? There we go. Next, I'm going to go into image size, and bring it all the way up to 5,000. I like to do that. I know some people think it loses detail, but I still think if you zoom on in, you'll see every ounce of detail still. It's not blurry. It's not badly proportioned. I think it looks fine. We are going to rotate this next 90 degrees clockwise. So if you go into image rotation, 90 degrees clockwise. There we go. By the way, I'm using Photoshop CS6. I'm not using the downloaded monthly thing at all. I'm just using the one that I bought from like Best Buy years ago before they went only online. If you wanted to zoom out to see this whole thing, you can. I like to zoom in and around and just touch spots sometimes. So whenever you're working on a photo or anything in Second Life, the first thing you ever do is hit Control J. Going to hold down Control and J, and that creates us a new layer. Layer 1 right here. You can rename it if you want by just clicking on it, naming it anything you want. First layer. That's not the same thing at all as layer 1. If you ever want a blank layer that doesn't show anything, right down here next to the trash can is this little paper with a dog tag on it, and it'll let you create a new blank layer. There's nothing on it. And that's sometimes good for having a certain color over the whole scene if you'd like that. Now then, my first thing that I always like to do when I'm editing this is contour, and that's with midtones, shadows, and highlights. So I always say that shadows are good for bronzing, like it'll give you kind of an orangish effect when you use that. Shadows give you more, or midtones give you more of like a shadowed gray look, and then highlights are even like more of a gray. It just fits more for how bright your skin is. So the paler shade, it's going to shadow it better when you use highlights. Midtone, it's going to be shadow it better if you use midtone. Again, it's kind of obvious when you think about it, kind of like that. So I'm going in with midtone. I have it at 21% exposure. I have it protected tones and on midtone right now. And all I'm doing is just going in and shadowing what I want. The sunlight is going to be in on this side over here on the right. So I am just trying to focus on bringing in a colorful tone to my face that isn't too shiny. It looks a bit more natural. And have the light be more focused to the other side. So I'm just going in and shading still. Just keeping it up. I'm also going to do the same over here on this arm. This is a little too high of a shadow. Let's lower that a bit. I'm going to lower it to about 13. I'm going to do the same. I really like to give myself like a little stomach round right here. I do that with almost every photo. You'll see like a little stomach pouch that I have, so I like to do that there. And then down here, I'm going to shade the legs a little bit. A lot of this is going to change as you go. You're going to have to redo a lot of things too. I'm going to crop this a little bit too. Because I don't like that hand over there. Only reason why. But what was I getting at? Oh my gosh. I shouldn't have cropped that while I was in the middle of a thought. But when you're working, and when you play with all these layers, if you add dodge, there's going to be times where you're just going to go back in, change things, make things lighter. It's just going to depend on, like, every time you look at it, you'll kind of maybe feel like a different feeling towards it on what you prefer. So I'm on the dodge tool now. If you right click this, you see dodge, burn, and sponge. Sponge desaturates and saturates, dodge lightens, and burn darkens. Above it, we have blur, sharpen, and smudge, and that's always really good if you see any imperfections at all, like over here. And this isn't the creator's fault at all. This just sometimes happens with whatever the word is, depth of field. So I have my smudge tool right here. I have it at 22%. I have it at no sample all layers, no finger painting, normal. And I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to try and blend these splotchy parts right into the wall like they never even existed. You can also do the blur tool with this, but I feel like this is almost like rubbing it in, getting rid of it. When I get close to the hairs, I might do blur. There we go. That already looks so much better. Look at that. And again, it's not the hair maker's fault. It's just what depth of field sometimes does. So let me go in with the blur tool now. I have it at 100% just because it takes a lot to blur. It's also good to kind of like blur the edges whenever you're going to do lighting on the side, just because if you ever look at photography photos when there's hair and cotton lighting, it's always kind of blurry and out of focus. So it's kind of good to have anyways. I honestly wish I hadn't left my lips like this when I took this photo. I feel like they look so fake. But I'm going to leave them as is. And now I'm going to work on maybe burning a little bit more too. Like my Cupid's bow, I like to burn just the in the dip. And then I'm going to highlight just right above the lip right after. I'm also going to highlight right here because I'm also going to add shadowing in a bit. I'm really rough with my highlight. Like I don't go in super deep in detail. Like I don't get super close up. And you want to kind of get in that habit because sometimes if you're like this close to it and you'll do all this editing and you'll zoom out and it could be something that you didn't want at all. You have to redo it all. That's happened to me a lot. You want to just kind of freeform it a bit and be able to see the whole image and see what you want to change around with it. So let's just keep messing with this. I'm just shadowing things or raising the light on these. You can just play around and see what you like on the face here. Do it how you like. It's also okay if you're using your own image too. You don't have to use the one I gave you. These are just tips I think that work. And it's just like using makeup too. I like when I do a lot of this stuff, I kind of refer to a lot of makeup tutorials that I watch. I'm horrible at doing makeup on myself because I just don't have the face for it. I don't think I'm like pretty enough for that. But on an avatar, it's a lot easier to kind of figure out what you want to do with it and what'll look good. So let's keep on adding a bit more shadow. So I added a little bit of highlight underneath the eyebrows, by the way. That's what I was getting at. Now I'm going to go super small. If you know me by now, you know I like realistic faces. I like to look as human as possible in Second Life, which isn't always the easiest thing to do. So I'm going to give myself smile lines. They're my favorite thing on faces. I have smile lines in real life. I always think they're very attractive because it shows how much someone smiled in their life. And that's just something I like to look for. I think it's very pretty. I wish they had them in Second Life. I always keep asking. I could probably just make my own though. If you saw how I did my makeup in high school thing, I did kind of show you how I do makeup too. Even if I didn't do it very well. Okay. And I did add under eye bags too, because another thing, it just looked more realistic to me. That's just my opinion. I think it helps. Oh, and I want to add a little bit more to my butt chin. Here we go. Okay. Let's zoom on out, and then we will keep working. So, I look a little drugged out. This is what I mean by you don't want to always just zoom in and focus, because sometimes it'll just mess up completely. So I'm going to go back in a bit and just highlight a little bit more. Fix those poor strung out eyes. I'm going to use shadows and that'll help. Okay. How is that looking? Oh, that's cool. I didn't even know you could do that. I was just wondering why this was missing, so there we go. I like to use this sometimes to see how it looks from far away while I'm still zooming in. Kind of just gives me a nice perspective. So I don't like bright lights right here. Like that kind of bugs me. So I'm going back in, fixing it again. Again, this is how I do my editing. This is why I normally do speed throughs when I do these because these take so long. Going in with shadow now. I just want to look bronze. I don't want to look crazy colored, like splotchy. See how this goes. So I'm using the patch tool right now, by the way. Patch and clone stamp are really good if you feel like there's an awkward spot and you want to get rid of that. You can just select it, drag over, and you replace it. It doesn't work very well if it's a big contrast in colors. So if it's like something majorly dark, it'll sometimes leave, like you can see right here, it'll leave kind of like residue of that color, that dark shade. So sometimes you want to go in instead with clone stamp, which is right here. And all you have to do, make sure you have this aligned button unclicked. And then you're going to hit Alt and go down and then just lighten what you want to get rid of that awkward shadow because that was bugging me. There we go. You can always shade it more without it being so harsh. Much better. Okay, come on. There we go. I still look a little drugged out, but that's okay. We are going to mess with lighting now, and that'll help. So on this side, I want it dark. On this side, I want it light. So let's work with the dark first really quick. We're going to have it be like a brownish black. We're going to have it go to soft light on our brush. And then I'm going to have it semi-low. I'll have it at about 54. Make sure you make a new layer, Control J. And this is going to be, in case you hate this, you can just start over. It's fine. It's better to do that than have to hit File, Revert, and start everything over. So I'm just going in, shadowing this. Oh, why is it doing so much fallout on my face? That's stupid. See? This is what I mean. You don't want to have to hit Edit Undo a bunch of times too. So I'm going to go a little bit further away. It seems like I have a very wide... I don't know how to fix that. They told me how and I can't remember already. I just have to be more gentle then. There we go. Just keep going. Be very gentle. Don't get it all over your face. There. Okay. Now we're going to go into the other side, which is going to be more golden, and we're going to go right on in. I want that to be a bit more orange, so let's do that. There. I'm going to do it on the other side as well, just so it's not completely black. And then you can still get a bit more orange in that hair. There. And now I'm going to go into a lighter tone. We're going to go into white. Just for the edge, just to show where that light is coming from. And again, like I said, I'm already hating how this color looks on my face, so I'm already wanting to lighten it and fix it, but I should really wait. But that's just me. I'm stubborn. Okay. I can't just stop. I have to keep going back and doing it. This is how I edit. Alrighty. I'm also going to use the dodge tool too over here just to kind of blend it a bit more. Midtones though. It also helps give the hair a bit of a light too. Go back into soft light. Just kind of keep switching them around. Go in up here too. Just make sure it doesn't look like you painted it. You want it to be as natural as you can. Sometimes that's a little hard, I know. I'm really not liking how the orange that face is, so that's when I go in with the sponge tool and desaturate at a very low number, like maybe 15. I just want to get rid of some of that orange on my face. It's bothering me. Okay, better. Alrighty, what am I doing now? Let's go back in and burn just a little bit. Mid-tone burn. I have it at 4, no wonder it's not doing anything. Okay. Alrighty, better. I like that much more. So now we are finally going to mess with, JK, I'm messing with my boobs first. Curves. Now that I have the light that I want, I'm just going to see if there's any colors here that I might like more. I didn't do that when I did my first original photo. I just liked the one that I had, so I didn't mess with it. But you can if you'd like. So yeah, I'm just going to go back to normal, but I do like to mess with this line. The top part brings it up a little bit, makes it lighter. The more that you go down with it, it'll change. So it's good to kind of just mess with it, see what you prefer. This one just brings a bit more contrast into it. You don't need a lot. I'm also going to add exposure, and I'm going to mess with the offset and the gamma correction. And again, just kind of feel for it, see what you like, mess with it. I feel like that kind of helps flatten it a bit and make it a bit more realistic. And then vibrance. I actually do want it to be like pop out just a little bit more, so I have it about at 79 positive, just on the vibrance. And let's go to brightness and contrast. I'm going to have contrast quite a bit at about a 13. And I might actually lower the brightness. I normally don't, but I actually kind of like it darker. And I have it at negative 22 for brightness. I'm already pretty happy with how this looks. You might want to add some few things if you want. But the final thing I'm going to do is go to photo filter. And I might change the color a little bit. Oh, that looks pretty. What's this one like? That looks pretty. I'm going to keep it orange, actually. I changed my mind. But I am going to mess with my gradient map right here. I know this looks crazy, but if you click on the color, it'll give you presets, and you want this black and white one right here. And then you can right-click it and go to blending options, and then make it luminosity, and that'll just give you a bit more shadow, makes you pop out just a little bit more. I am going to go back in, and I see this like little halo of orange, and I want that gone. I hate it. So I'm just going to go back in and color it just a little bit more. Other side too. I want it all to look natural and seamless. So sometimes you got to just go back in and redo stuff over and over and over again. Okay. Now, I have these brushes that I like to use a lot for dust particles. I will make sure to include them in the description below. You can grab it from there. They're free. You're able to use them both for commercial and for private use. Just make sure you don't re-upload on DeviantArt. This is their work, so don't claim it as your own. I don't think you have to credit them. I credit them now just because I give this out. So obviously I'm showing everybody where it's from, but you don't have to. I don't believe. You can check. It'll say in their description on DeviantArt. And of course, I'm going back in again and coloring stuff. I can't stop myself. Okay, so next we are going to go into filter. And if you go down here to sharpen, you can edit there next. Oh, it already sharpened to derp. And then we're also going to go into filter, noise, and add noise. This also just helps with the realism for it. I'm going to bring it up till about 7. And then you can see right here how much grain it'll be on the skin. And I'm okay with that. I like grainy photos. This is still kind of dark over here, and that's kind of bugging me. So we are going to go down to color dodge. I don't need it that high. I can have it about like 35. Paint with it. And then I'm just going to make it a little lighter. Not there. Let's fix that. Step backwards. There. Better. Maybe on this side too, just a tiny bit. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm happy with this. Are you happy with yours? I'd love to see. Tag me on Facebook, Plurk, Flickr, anywhere. Show me what you did with it. I would love to see. If you want to have your photo on it and we do another tutorial, just let me know and I'll do more. These are really fun for me. Soon I'll be doing one where it's just a landscape. It's not just a close-up photo of me. So we'll be doing that soon too. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later. Bye, guys.